In board games, along with most aspects of world culture, World War I often takes a backseat to its cooler big brother, World War II. But today we're going to give WWI the respect and attention it deserves as we join up with the Grizzled. The Grizzled from Sweet Games and Cool Mini or Not is a cooperative card game where 2 to 5 players take on the role of a ragtag bunch of French soldiers struggling to survive the horrors of trench warfare during World War I. Do we have what it takes to band together and survive as a group, or will we end up as nothing but names on a monument? Let's find out. Winning and losing the game comes down to these 2 cards. You have the end of the war, you have peace, and you have the monument to all the soldiers who have died, which is, if you lose, going to be your characters. So you're going to have 25 cards go down on that card, 34 cards go down there. If you run out of the cards on the peace side, you win. If you run out of the cards on the monument side first, you lose. The cards that go down there are your threat cards. You have 2 types of cards here. You have trials and you have hard knocks. Trials are cards you play down in the field. These are the ones you're trying to unload out of your hand. They come in the form of things like bullets and snow. This card represents both. This one is rain and air raids, represented by the whistle. As you can see, most of these have 2. There's a gas attack and rain. This one is just an air raid. This one is both night, darkness, and snow, so you got a combination there. Then you have the hard knocks. These ones you play down, and these affect specific characters in the game. So if you play these, you play them on yourself. You got things like selfish, fearful, prideful. You may have phobias. You may be afraid of certain things, or you could have traumas, which are just you're traumatized by certain conditions. But anyway, just a bunch of bad cards. Nothing on these cards is good. Nothing helps you. The way the game works is your team leader, and your team leader is going to be whoever holds this, and it rotates around the table as the game goes on, is going to decide how many cards everybody gets dealt off the top of the peace deck. Let's just put some cards down there and some down over there. He decides how big he wants how dangerous he wants the mission to be. So he deals out that card. Let's say he deals out 3 cards to every player. Now everybody's going to go around, and they're going to have to play a card out of their hand. They can play a threat in the middle of the board, or they can play a hard knock on one of their characters. And everybody's going to be assigned one of these 5 characters here. You see they have kind of this cartoony satire type artwork. And if you play a hard knock card down, that goes down directly onto your character. Secondary loss condition, this is fun. If at the end of any round, any character has 4 or more hard knocks on them, everybody loses the game. That's your first option. You can play one of those cards out of your hand. You'll play those threat cards down like so, out of your hand. And as you go on, the mission continues as you play these cards until any 3 of one threat is down on the table. On your turn, you always have the option to withdraw. And if you withdraw, you pull your guy out, you play one of these support tokens, which we'll talk about in a minute, and you're out of the round. You no longer have to play any cards. Once everybody successfully withdraws, then all these are discarded, and you succeeded in taking that many cards off of the peace deck. Why not just play a couple cards every round and then withdraw? Because after everybody has withdrawn, you count the number of cards everybody has in their hand. And you pull that many cards off the top of the monument deck and put them on to the peace deck. So not only are you at that point closer to the monument, but you've just added more peace cards that you have to get rid of. If the mission fails, then all those cards come off and go back onto the peace deck and have to be played again. Other things you can do on your turn, each character has a good luck charm. You can play one of these good luck charms to remove one of these conditions off the middle row here. So his good luck charm is rain. This card has rain on it. He can say, no, I'm getting rid of that. You flip that over. Your charm is used. You got a chance to bring it back later. The other thing you have the opportunity to do on your turn is make a speech. Now, speech will get passed out as the game continues. There's a finite number in the game depending on the number of players, but these speeches have little dialogue boxes on them. Really don't mean anything, aren't significant to anything. But you can make a speech on your turn. You can rally your troops. And if you make a speech, then you can name one type of threat, and everybody can discard that type of threat from their hand. Discard one of those cards basically for free. Get them out. They won't come back. The other thing you can do on your turn, like I said, you have the opportunity to withdraw. And at that point, you play one of these support tokens. Support tokens are given out randomly at the beginning of the game. You see you have right 1, right 2. You have left and right 2 as well. And basically, you play that face down, and that's going to pass around the table in that many players in that direction once they're revealed at the end of the round. If one player, and again, you can't communicate this, you can't plan who you're going to pass these to. If one player ends up with more support tokens than anybody else, then that player has the option to either remove 2 hard knocks cards from their character, or flip their character back over and get their good luck charm back. You continue to play the game for as many rounds as it takes until either you've revealed this card and nobody has any cards left in their hand, or you draw the last card off the monument deck. They build a monument to your characters because they all died. And that's how you play the Grizzled. Despite that cartoony, almost silly artwork you see in this game, it actually treats the subject matter with a lot of respect and a lot of dignity. The rulebook even talks about how some of the characters in the game are real-life people who are ancestors of some of the game's creators, so everything ties together. It really does capture that feel, that anxiety of being in the trenches, because this game is hard. And you very rarely feel like you got it locked down. You always feel like certain death is just right around the corner. It's a game all about making bad decisions, just trying. Your only goal is to make the least worst decision. Just hopefully you play a card and you're not setting your teammates up to wreck the game for you and make the mission fail. You may get to the point after a few playthroughs where you're like, you know what, we got this figured out. But the game could always throw a monkey wrench at you. It's just going to level everything. Maybe the worst part of that game is the hard knocks cards you play down your characters, which even though you're going to try to avoid it, there's really no way of getting out of having at least a couple hard knocks cards on your character. For example, there's one card that won't let you withdraw until you've played all your cards. So even if you have a card that is going to make the mission fail and you have that hard knock on you, guess what? You have to play that card. You have to fail the mission. So the game is constantly making it very, very hard to win. The nice thing about this game is not only is it hard, but it's short. And that's a really nice combination. Sometimes you play a really hard game that just beats you down and you're like, oh man, I don't want to play that game again for a long time. But this one, it crushes you and you come right back and play it again. It probably takes maybe 10, 15 minutes at the most to get through one game. So you sit down an hour, you get several playthroughs, and maybe if you get lucky, you'll win once or twice. It really does bring your group together. That's something else it talks about in the rulebook, is capturing that theme of unity among the troops. And it really does that because you can't talk to each other and you really have to follow those rules. You can't give hints or clues as to what you're doing or what you have in your hand. You don't know what each other's doing. You don't know what's going to happen next, but you're trying, really trying hard to work as a team and survive together. It's a pretty versatile game. I think it works in a lot of situations. You can bring together a lot of different groups of people to play this, and they're going to enjoy it. It's a very easy game to learn and to teach, but it's also very challenging. It's fun. It's a good time. I definitely recommend it. Check it out. The Grizzled. Okay, everybody, thanks so much for watching Roll and Move Reviews. As always, we're sponsored by AlterEgoGames.net. Be sure to check them out for some of the best deals you're going to get on board games on the internet. If you enjoyed this video, please click like, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and while you're at it, you might as well follow us on Twitter and like our Facebook page. You can watch our older videos on YouTube, Board Game Geek, Facebook, or the Alter Ego Games site. That's all I got for now, guys. Until next time, have fun out there. World War I often takes a back seat to its cooler big brother, World War II. But wait a minute, World War I came first, so technically wouldn't that be the older brother?